Good morning, guys. I have some work to do today, so I was just getting ready to start my day. It's 11, which is much later than I intended to be awake. But I had the house to myself for a few minutes. I thought, I'll make a loud video, because I fucking well can. And also, I'll swear a lot, because there's no one here to judge me but the dog. Just taking care of my hands. Also, I did this to my nails. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, pretty. It's like $2, this nail polish. I was very pleased. I also got one with glitter, because glitter is a thing I need in my life. Oh, this would work better if I, one second. So, the other day, I did a video about what a terrible vlogger I am, and, Claire Rodriguez, I think it was, commented, and she was asking me where I worked, and I realized I don't think I actually did a video. I did videos that sort of explained within them what I do, but it didn't really explain what I do. So I thought it would be better if I just came out and explained it, just made it its own video. I'm a transcriptionist. I'm still technically in training for medical. I have not touched that course in months. I mean, it's literally, at this point, it's just a matter of silence. A matter of the fact that I haven't done it in so long. It's like, oh my god, really? What is wrong with you, girl? You know, I have a huge desk so I can study it. Oh, also, random side note, the book this month for book club is The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be awesome. Anyway, but yes, a little bit of ADD in the morning. Seriously, I'm just thinking of Tom Green on Clone High right now. Just lick the book, lick the book, lick the book, lick the book. But yeah, I just brush my hair out. I am a transcriptionist. Like I said, I'm training for medical right now professionally. I'm doing general and media. So that's really fun. Typically, let's see, what did I work on in the last week? One client technically counts as legal, because it is legal, because it is for the New York Unemployment Insurance Board, appeal board cases. So those can be pretty interesting, actually, surprisingly so, even though they're legal cases and they're very formulaic. Those are actually proving to be very interesting. My other job is, well, I have 2 other clients, and one is the strictly supposed to be general and media. No, they're both technically general and media. The one client I have that's, it's a very, very cheap client. Maybe if I explain it. My legal client that I'm currently working with right now, they pay by the page. Not everybody does. Smudge on my desk. Not everybody does. Typically within the industry, you will usually get especially when you start at a by-the-minute rate. You want to work up to a by-the-page rate, or even a flat rate, and depending on who it's for, it can really work out nicely. I did an as-broadcast file for Comedy Central the other night, and that was 26 minutes for $45 flat rate. There was a lot of formatting because I'm still learning how to do the formatting properly. So yeah, like once I actually learn how to do that properly, I will. Okay, one of the big things about this job is you want to take care of your hands. You wind up at the computer a lot. You want to give yourself a nice hand massage before you start. It just makes things nicer, and just, I don't know why my hands get really dry when I type a lot. I don't know, I'm weird. And I'm actually just using, at the moment, I'm just using the, this is Body Butter by Hemp's. It is really nice and smells amazing. So yeah, so I did Comedy Central File this week. That was really fun. The comic was really funny, really up my alley as well. So it was really great. I was just laughing. I took so much longer than usual to do the file because I was laughing my ass off. It was really great. But, I mean, this week I have also done a... It gets really hard because you want to talk about your work, but you have to be general but specific if you want to explain to people what you do. But then you also don't want to break NDA. But I did work on a case this week that was handwritten notes, and it was a net crime investigation thing, and yeah, it was a very difficult case to work on. Suffice it to say. I've also done some work for a show that's called The Pitch that is about advertisers. It's like a reality TV show, game show thing for advertisers. So it's very interesting. And I've also been working on a show in the last week called Taking Atlanta. I don't know what that is. It is a reality show. I don't know who that's for. It was kind of interesting. I've done some work on Iron Chef, and I have done a lot of work on this show called The Next Food Network Star, which apparently has been in several seasons, but my mom's an avid Food Network watcher, and she's like, I've never heard of it, so I don't know if it's just American Food Network or what. But yeah, so that's what I do for a living. And it's really fun. It's really fun, and I really enjoy it. Some days are better than others. Some days you have more work than others. Lately, it's kind of frustrating because people will tell you that we're still technically in the slow season. Come September, usually is when it gets busy. That's when more of the shooting schedules kick in. That's when more of the academic stuff comes in. I have done a lot of academic stuff. Oh, you fell. I have done a lot of academic stuff. And it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. Been really interesting. Learned lots of stuff. I wound up doing a lot of webinars, actually, which is quite cool. I've got a 90-minute file I've got to do for tomorrow. A lot of people also want to know my words per minute. And in relation to the job, it's hard to say because words per minute on perfect audio, I'm probably around 70. But even then, because it's based on audio, it becomes very difficult to judge. My copy typist level is very bad. Sorry, juice. But basically, at the heart of it, what I do is I work from home. Right now, you're currently perched underneath my monitor. I got an awesome desk. I have a comfy chair. I'm still new to the business, so I'm working a lot more hours for a decent wage, which is getting better and better. It's not awesome. It isn't awesome. But I should point out that I'm also visually impaired, so for me to find a job, it is really difficult. There's something like I know it's definitely less than 30% of people who are classed as visually impaired are gainfully employed, and a hell of a lot less than that are above the poverty line with that wage. And I'm glad to say that if my year continues the way it is, I will technically fall above the poverty line, as long as the poverty line hasn't moved above 14,000 as it was when I was in school. If it is still in fact there, I'm good. But yeah, no, it's an interesting job, and basically what happens is, at the base of it, I simply type what people say, during videos or audio or what have you, and at the most extensive, you can wind up basically rewriting the script off of shots, which is what HBO typically does. And it's kind of like, I haven't had any of those files yet. I became aware of the fact that that would be a possibility based on the use of a program. Oh, and the software that I use, because some people ask what software you use. I use, personally me, I do have access to a program called Transcribign. I hate it. It's basically a foot pedal controlled playback system, usually good for BMF files. But I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. I tend to use Inkscribe, which you can get a free trial license for, which isn't time sensitive. And I can't remember who makes that, or ExpressScribe, which there is also a free version of. Actually, I think it might just be free. Like, I don't even think it's a version. I don't think they sell a license for that. I'd have to look. And that's by NCH. NCH does a lot of programs, a lot of sort of utility stuff, so you might actually have something by them on your computer or have tried something. They do video editing software, audio editing software, some conversion softwares. They do a lot of stuff. And also for... Let me put my computer on. It's also going to make a terrible noise because he's trying very hard to die, and he's not allowed yet because I can't afford to replace him. His name is Hal, my computer. Yeah, I named my computer. Don't judge me. I'm going to pick you up so I can turn my monitor on. Oh no, the lights! So yeah, that's the thing. What is it? Wavelength? Waveform? Wave something. There is some conversion software. That's a video conversion software. There's a lot of free ones out there. I'm using a trial of this one currently at the minute. I'll be able to tell you in about 2 seconds. Oh, no! Wondershare! Wondershare! Oh, it's called Wondershare. It's really good. And yeah, you get a free limited trial of that. It leaves a watermark on the video, and technically it limits the length of the video you can do. The full trial is either 60 or 100. Or the full trial, the full license. So yeah. But yeah, so it's a thing. That's what I do. I just type. And, like I said, oh, and the typical starting pay. Now, this varies, and because a lot of companies are choosing to outsource, especially to, like, Malaysia and the Philippines and things like that, what's happening is 2 reactions. One is that a lot of American companies are going only American. And I heard this little rumor that even one of the companies that I'm working for has switched to Americans only. I could be wrong on that. I mean, I might have gotten grandfathered in. They seem to like me, so. But a company called Focus Forward that's people have been working for years. I think if you were Canadian, you were already in. They're cool with it, but because a lot of people would argue that, and it's not against foreigners, it's just the fact that there are a lot of nuances that if you're not immersed in that English-speaking culture all the time, you're gonna miss out on. And watching TV isn't gonna cut it, necessarily. You know, things like word usage, stuff like that. But probably more than anything, it's just like, brr, America, brr. Because some people are like that, you know, and they're like, I don't want to outsource to foreigners. And it's like, well, if they did a good job, fine, but they're not doing a good job. And their companies are taking 30 cents a minute audio, so I don't have any idea how much those people must be paid. I mean, okay, minimum wage here is $10.50, and currently at the rate that I manage to work, in order for it to be minimum wage work for me, I need to be paid about $1.25 a minute. But like I said, it's better than if I didn't, because the thing is, like, I don't want to go on the dole. Simple as. Like, I don't want to be on welfare. I've got an aunt who's on it right now because she's disabled, and the amount they expect you to live on is pathetic, but it should be. But, I mean, it's this argument that it should be a different amount for when you're, you know, when you're actually disabled versus just work shy. And the problem is that the amount of money they have to put out for supporting the welfare system is like, now I'm getting into this big debate, is so big that they can't afford enough people to investigate properly all these claims. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, that's basically what I do, is I just type what people say, and, then I would probably answer a couple of questions. If you looked into it, you would see that medical is a big thing. Medical, excuse me. I apologize. Medical is difficult to get into because, I'm out of frame. Because a lot of companies want you to have a significant amount of experience before you start with them. Also, people see that the pay looks really awesome, and they see that, oh, you could make, you know, some companies are claiming you can make $24 an hour. You're not going to make that doing medical. You're not going to make that doing medical for the simple fact that there's a lot of ESL speakers, which is English as a second language, and it can be very difficult. One East Indian accent will sound nothing like another one, will sound nothing like a Pakistani, will sound nothing like a German, will sound nothing like a Swiss, will sound nothing like a French, will sound nothing like a Spanish, will sound nothing like a Portuguese, which will still sound nothing like a Brazilian, which will sound nothing like a Venezuelan, which will sound nothing like a Colombian. These are just some of the ones that I have had to deal with. Will sound nothing like a Japanese, or a Korean, or a Chinese, or a Filipino. You have to really think about how many accents that you're happy to deal with. For the one company that I work for, people won't deviate because it's 50 cents a minute for the audio. So as soon as there's any kind of accent and they're not familiar with it, they're like, why would I bother? I would still crack on with it because I was still new and it was more work than I was getting, so some work is better than no work at all. But yeah, so, but yeah, now I barely get to work for those guys. I did like $12 worth of work for them last month, just because I've been swamped. I picked up my new client, the legal client. I've been really, really, really busy with my media in general guy. I mean, there's a guy that owns the company, but the people I interface with are all ladies. And yeah, so, and the other problem with medical is it's usually very short files. So what happens is you'll spend a lot of time sorting the files out, you'll spend a lot of time formatting the files, spend a lot of time editing the files. You won't necessarily have a hell of a lot of audio. And ideally what you want is a very large audio ratio. Having small files that you have to bust up and format and deal with is a pain in the ass, and it takes ages because if you have to realign margins and everything like that, yeah, it's a pain. It is a pain. And Word is kind of a dick. Like, one of the biggest problems I have right now is with my legal client. Every time I do any of their stuff, well, I have to do continuous breaks, but I always have to recheck all the margins in each individual section, because even though I set it to keep the format of the current page, it's gone and done something completely different. And for some reason, I've tweaked one thing up somewhere, and now it's changed the font size and the headers or the footers, and it just goes on, and Word is a terrible tool. It can be really great and really useful, but it can be such a pain in the ass. Oh, I'm tired. But yeah. Anyway, so those are things. Those are things to consider. Also, there's a lot of burnout. You deal with a lot of stuff, you hear a lot of stuff, you see a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's really awesome and the assignments are really great and really interesting, and you're like, yeah, this is really great and I love it. And sometimes you have a week like last week when I ate an entire box of Girl Guide cookies because I had an assignment that made me hate all other human beings, and I was glad I worked at home, because if I had to look at another human being while I was doing that assignment, I would have punched them so hard. But that was a criminal thing, and yeah, it's not good. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much as I can explain. I mean, if you have any questions or comments or anything, I should say I have been professionally doing this for about 6 months. The medical transcriptionist course I'm taking is through ICS. That's, again, on medical, a lot of companies want you to have, I think, when I did the research, about 2,000 minutes of medical experience. ICS and most other training programs will provide you with perhaps a couple hundred. So the idea that they give you and they tell you, and even the community college here tells you, they will help you find a job in your industry, or they'll give you, I don't know, like some sort of rebate, and it's like, well, that's nice. How broad does my industry go? Also, silence happened again. So yeah, how broad does my industry go? I don't know. That's something that you would have to think about and really look into, because these courses are not cheap. My course was, I'm sorry, there's a lot of silence today. My course was not cheap. My course was about $1,500. And it was a 2-year program. And I should have been done January of last year. I got so far, and then, or January of this year. I should have been finished before Christmas, but I got sidetracked by other things and work, and I mean, really, I took probably like 2 months that I just did nothing with it in the middle there, and then I haven't done anything with it since like January, but I need to do it. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, by all means, I think this is a good conversation starter, and if anybody wants to talk about it, if you want me to explain some stuff, by all means, I would absolutely love to answer any questions. There are a lot of people breaking into the industry right now, and I mean, one of the things about outsourcing is the fact that it'll go in waves, and right now it's a wave of really bad outsourcing for not a lot of money, and there's a backlash from a lot of clients who just don't want to outsource. You know, if any of their clients find out that they've outsourced that sort of thing, and I mean, obviously security issues along with other things, it's crazy. Anyway, alright, so thank you so much for watching, and I'm Sarah, and that has been The Talk. Well, not The Talk, because, you know, that'd be weird. Yeah.